For a lot of the stuff I make on here, I feel like I have to give an explanation as to why I'm doing some weird concept, because I use a lot of strange ideas for crossovers on this channel, but with Angry Birds as dinosaurs, it kinda just feels like a natural fit. As usual with my dinosaur episodes nowadays, it's being narrated by the channel favorite trio of characters. Dr. Champagne McGreggor, the grouchy ex-dinosaur Genetecist, good old Benny Sharp, the mech armor maker, and the Vasilia Kuznet, the fantasy armor crafter. Got some fun banter and fun art coming up, so let's get into it, shall we? Let's hit like if you want, subscribe if you feel like, but either way, enjoy the show. So then the kid tries to look all tough and yells out, "Go Charizard," or something, and this big dragon pops out. I don't know what he's after, but I just take out my tranquilizer gun and shoot the big flamey gecko. It's out cold and the kid just kinda runs away, but drops a bunch of money for some reason. So yeah, that was a pretty weird day. That just sent... Is that story actually true? I try to never ruin a perfectly good story with the truth. Anyway, hey Vasilia, you here or what? It's Panini Friday and Shamp's got some more dino stories for us. Yes, I am here, and are you genuinely once more willing to tell tales from the job you hated so deeply, Dr. Champagne? Yeah, well, I've been doing pretty good getting over my hate for that place, so I figure if you clowns still find the stories funny, then why not? I got no shortage of ridiculous tales of the clowns that ran Dino Cross Park after all. Excellent then. Normally I do not make effort to focus on the incompetencies of others, but the way you tell such tales of said clowns is quite amusing. Please, go on. Right, well, there was this one time they made a deal with this popular video game and movie series from our world called Angry Birds. Angry Birds? What do you do in that game? You shoot different kinds of birds from a slingshot at these towers that these pigs is hiding in because they stole the eggs from the birds. You know, I never explained it out loud before, but I'm just realising how blatant weird of a concept it is. Now, who hasn't shot a bird at a pig with a slingshot? So what, you turn the birds into dinosaurs then? Yeah, pretty much. They wanted to make a separate part of a theme park where the Angry Bird dinos would live, and where some pig-like ones would be bred to try stealing the eggs of the bird dinosaurs. Very cruel. Sounds quite in line with what your employers have done in prior tales you've told. Yeah, it was pretty on brand for them, but it got more ridiculous from there. In the first meeting, they tried floating around this idea of making a giant slingshot to shoot the dinosaurs around. But I didn't have to be the one to tell those clowns it was a ridiculous idea. They came to that conclusion themselves. Hey, look at that, glimmers of common sense, that's good to hear. Yeah, not exactly. They came to that conclusion by building a giant slingshot and shooting a cow across the park with it. It obviously died, then they decided it probably wasn't a smart idea to risk our dinosaurs' lives by shooting them into the air. But they did start using the thing to shoot food into the dinos' cages. That was actually kinda funny to watch, to be honest. Anyway, for the bird dinos, they wanted them to be feathery and the same colour as the birds from the game, but beyond that, they didn't care too much what I did. At first, anyway. So I started with the main angry bird, this red one, being a Tyrannosaurus sort of thing. Wait, why did you not simply make birds into dinosaurs that could fly? Oh, the birds in the game can't fly, that's why they got the slingshots. The birds can't fly. Are they all penguins and emus and such? No, they just... Look, it's a weird game, alright? You want an explanation for it? I ain't your guy. All I can tell you about is the weird stuff my own bosses asked me for, and there was no shortage of weird requests coming up on the project. Alright, so what was the weirdest thing those goons asked you for on this project? Was it as weird as when they asked you to make a dino that could shoot webs or could explode or whatever? Well, funny enough, they did double back to that exploding idea for one of the ones coming up, but I pretty quickly made them drop that. No, instead, for the second one I was working on, this yellow bird that's like the super fast one, I thought we was gonna be all good just having the thing be some Velociraptor or something. You know, just a sort of quick dinosaur. Easy peasy, right? But then... Did you just say easy peasy? What is this peasy? I am not familiar with the term. What? It's just a saying. Yeah, but it doesn't sound like a saying that you would say. It sounds like something that a kindergarten teacher would say. I am not familiar with kindergartens either. What are these? What are you two, patting for time or something? Let me get on with the blatant story. Fine, go on. Kindy, it's some kind of garden, yes, Benjamin? Yeah, it's where folks grow their kids. Okay, anyway, this blatant horror-up comes to me and says, "Hey, Champagne, I finally watched them Angry Birds movies with my kids last night. And the first thing I wanted to say was that I was deeply concerned that this clown had procreated. But I held my tongue for once. Then he says that the yellow bird in the movies is like insanely fast, like could probably circle the planet in an hour if it wanted to. I saw where this was going, so I says I ain't gonna be able to make this thing run 1,000 miles an hour. And he says, why not? He says we got plenty of superhero people running around like the sci-fi and stuff. If there is superpowered people, why ain't we got more superpowered dinosaurs? Aye, indeed, I forget that your world has superhuman people in it. This actually sounds like a reasonable point employer makes. Yeah, I get that technically it might have been possible, alright, but that was when I had to tell the clown that even if I could give our yellow bird Velociraptor super speed so fast that it was imperceptible to the human eye, that might be a little dangerous to have running around, especially seeing how, you know, it's a blatant carnivore and our security at Dino Cross Park was about as helpful as wearing a coat on the Titanic. I don't think Vasilia's gonna get that reference, bud. No, I understand. Was large ships that was sunk by Ice Leviathan, yes? Close enough. Anyway, then I also says, even if we did have top-notch security, having the thing be that fast would mean we probably would never be able to find it when we eventually had guests running around this place, which still seemed like a blatant pipe dream to me because of the aforementioned garbage security and never-ending list of health and safety violations. Still, he told me to try it anyway. I pretended to, then eventually just told him it didn't work out. Of course, by the time I did that, he'd forgotten that he'd even asked. Alright, so we got the bird dinos, but you said you made some big ones too? What do those things look like? What kind of dinos did you make them? Like a Lystrasaurus or something? Lystra? A what? What the flip is that? Lystrasaurus, it's like a reptilian pig sort of dino. I think you're forgetting that despite working as a dinosaur geneticist, I really don't know nothing about dinosaurs. I just made the bleating pig thing a Triceratops again. I did that once with a spider ham dinosaur. Although, this time I actually made the thing look like a pig, with the big schnoz and everything. I assumed that, and making the thing green like the pigs in the game, was gonna be enough for him. From your tone, I am assuming this was inaccurate assumption? Yeah, I'm getting that sense too, silly, and you know what they say about assuming, it'll get you zooming to the wrong conclusions. Nobody has ever said that before, Benny, but nah, they was actually okay with the ideas, but then they said, hey Champagne, can you breed the pig dinos to have wonky eyes, looking off in different directions like the ones in the game? It'll be funnier that way. So I told them that ain't very nice of them to ask. They says, what do you mean? I says, at some point, if this place gets its bleating act together, we is gonna have tens of thousands of kids coming round this place, right? A few of them is probably gonna have lazy eyes themselves. How you think they is gonna feel if we made a dinosaur skew-eyed because we thought it would look funny? And she says, oh, that's different. Nobody would make fun of a kid for having a lazy eye. Nobody is that heartless. But a dinosaur having one is funny. And I says, you're giving other kids way too much credit. In my experience, kids is little rat demons that'll make fun of anyone for any little random difference, like a lazy eye or, I don't know, being named after a celebratory beverage. Then she gets all mad and says, hey, you can't say that about kids. Some of my best friends are kids. And that just derailed me completely because that was a real creepy thing to say, but eventually I just lost that battle and I gave the thing a blatant lazy eye.
Just to clarify, Dr. Champagne, in your world, people with eyes looking in different directions are ridiculed? In my world, they are revered, as they are this famous legend of warrior who had such eyes and could never be snuck up on by fools.
I mean, I thought they was made fun of just because folks in my world tend to be pretty cruel about anyone being different from them. But then one day, we has a park trial day where we brought in a school of kids. And of course, one of them has a lazy eye. They got to the Angry Birds dino housing and I thought the other kids was going to start laughing at the dino, then at the kid. But no, the kid with the lazy eye was the first one to yell out, hey, that one looks like me. Then the other kids was cheering him on and taking pictures of him and the dinosaur, like this kid was some kind of hero or something. I even went up to the teacher and asked, hey, so the kids don't make fun of that one kid for his lazy eye? And she looked disgusted at me and says, that's an awful thing to say. Why would anyone make fun of someone for having a lazy eye? Then stomps off like I'm being a jerk. Where was these kinds of supportive and inclusive kids when I was coming up?
Do you need a hug, Dr. Champagne? Sounds like childhood traumas are coming up at the moment.
No, it's fine now. I just, I assumed I was being the considerate one,
Well, like everybody definitely always says about assuming, it'll get you a zooming to...
Shut up.
Quick little reminder that the art from this episode will be available as posters on my Teespring store, along with ink bundles, t-shirts, and posters from previous episodes, all linked in the description. Now back into more art.
Anyway, for the last Angry Bird dino I made, I went with... Well, don't say it's the last one, we gotta leave this open for a sequel, Don't know what that means, but I'm pressing on. For the very last dino of this set, I had to work with this bird from the game that could literally explode. So, yeah, they did quickly float out the idea of a dinosaur exploding like that time with the Minecraft creeper thing.
I don't think I have heard this tale before that you reference of Minecraft creeper?
Don't worry, silly, we got that story recorded. But fair warning, Shamp's accent sounds real weird in it. You want me to wrap up this story or not?
Yes, go on, Doctor. The exploding dinosaur, I assume, could not actually explode?
That's right, stomped out that bong idea right quick. Then the discussion came up of what kind of dinosaur to make this thing. We already had a T-Rex sort of thing and a raptor. The bomb guy is bigger than the other birds in the game, so I thought maybe make it one of them giga whatevers, the T-Rex looking thing that's bigger than a T-Rex.
Oh yeah, I believe that one's pronounced Genetecist.
Sure, whatever, could be right as far as I know. So yeah, I suggest it be a Giganotosaurus, and they says, nah, something even bigger we think. What about one of them giraffe looking ones? So I just went with that, the brontosaurus or something. I mean, realistically, we should have gone with a different dinosaur that was real round looking, like one of them tank ones with the club tail. The higher-ups realised that eventually, and to try and make this thing look more like the bomb Angry Bird, they just started seriously overfeeding the thing to give it a big round belly. It kinda worked, I guess. I mean, those things already have pretty round bellies, but I guess maybe it got a bit bigger. Either way, it only sorta looked like the bird that it was supposed to look like.
Alright, so what other weird thing did they ask for on this one?
I mean, nothing really, that was kinda it.
This is anticlimactic ending to tale.
Well, right, but that's just cause I ain't told you about how they tried to bring back that whole exploding thing. Just cause we, couldn't put the exploding into the genetics, doesn't mean the higher-ups was giving up on it. They still really wanted this thing to explode.
Alright, now we're talking, so what did those goons do then?
Well, when we had those kids visiting and we got around to the bomb dinosaur, the higher-ups really wanted to make a big impression and was willing to sacrifice some money and assets to make sure these kids and teachers really took this place up, right? So, they had the dinosaur ate a bunch of timed explosives.
Timed explosives? As in devices that will explode?
Yeah, what else could... Anyway, right as the kids start taking pictures of the thing, boom, completely burst from the inside out. Guts and flames is shooting everywhere, kids is spewing, fire alarms and sprinklers is going off. It was absolute chaos. And the Angry Birds people tried to sue the company over the whole thing.
Well, tale redeemed. That is very ridiculous ending, I must say. Much more satisfying.
Yeah, it almost sounds too ridiculous to be honest. Was that seriously true, Champ? Well, ain't you heard before, Benny? You should never ruin a perfectly good story with the truth.
I think I might have a new favorite dinosaur episode on the channel. And funny enough, this was actually inspired by how much people have been enjoying the My Singing Monsters episodes, even though narrator-wise and tone-wise this one's pretty different. If you're new to the channel and you want something similar to this, the most recent episode would probably be my Disney TV characters as dinosaurs episode, but I've got a whole playlist of dinosaur videos like this, so I'll link it in the end screen. But besides that, that's all for today, except of course for ending this video on some kind of positive or inspiring note, and the thought I want to leave people with is from a man named Shane Parrish, who says that optimism might not make you successful, but pessimism will guarantee you don't succeed. Because if you don't believe that you could actually achieve something, why would you continue to work towards it? You have to know that whatever you're going after is possible for you. I hope that's inspiring to someone out there. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I love you all, and I'll see you all in the next episode on Monday. Goodbye.